Now that we've covered the basic commands of AutoCAD and we know how to deal with our layers and add our text and add dimensions, I'm going to start a new document with you just so we could refresh our memories and we go step by step. So I'm going to click on my keyboard. I'm going to click on Control N at the same time so that I start a new document. And the template I'll be using is a CAD template, and then click on Open. Now again, I need to make sure that my units are set, so I'm going to type units. Sorry, that is weird. I'm going to type units, and I'm going to change this from inches to millimeters. If you have it done already, then that's fine. And then I'm going to turn my grid off by pressing at this button. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm set and I'm ready to start drawing. So now I'm going to draw a room that is, say, 7,000 by 5,000 units big. So I'm going to start by setting my layers by pressing at this button. If you don't have this window open, you just type layer and it should appear. Now you click on this button that says new layer, and we're going to start a new layer that says that, and call it walls. I'm going to change the color to red, and that is the common color for walls. Feel free to change the color, and that's up to you. Now, normally when you start working for an office, they have an agreement and a template that they use. So until you get there, you're free to choose your own colors. Make sure that it's on, it's not frozen, it's unlocked, and that the line weight is default, the transparency is 0, and the line type is continuous. I'm going to start with a polyline, PL for polyline. I'm going to hit the enter button, and I'm going to go with a line in this direction. Make sure that my ortho mode is on by pressing on this little button over here, or F8 on your keyboard, and I'm gonna specify this to be 7,000 units. Now again, AutoCAD has gone crazy, so I'm gonna exit the command and ask it to zoom out, erase this, and start again. PL for polyline, start it at this point and go in this direction, 7,000 units, go up 5,000 units, go left 7,000 units, and then close it. Now notice how my lines are black when my walls are red, and that is why I noticed that I am drawing on the wrong layer. To move my objects from one layer to the other, I just need to select them, go to the properties of that line, or type PR. If you don't have that window open, just type PR, and the properties window should appear. And then all you have to do is click on the drop-down menu from the layer row, click on the arrow, and choose walls. So now I've moved my line to my walls, and then I'm going to offset this line to the outside 300 units. So I'm going to click on enter. The offset distance is going to be 300, and then I'm going to click enter. Then I'm going to choose my object and press outside, because this is where I want the new copy to be. So there are my walls. I'm going to start a new layer and call it hatch. Before I go with the hatch, I'm going to start a new layer and call it windows. I'm just waiting for it to listen. So I'm going to just right click and rename the layer and call it windows. Naturally, windows are blue, so I'm going to give it a blue color. And I'm going to assume that my window is right here. And it is, say, I don't know, 1,000 units big. Okay, small, actually. And 1,000 units to this direction. I'm going to erase this line, so now a total of 2,000 units, and I'm just going to roughly draw my window. Right here. This is too rough and it's too wrong, so please don't make sure that you don't copy it. You will know how to draw windows later on. I'm going to go ahead and draw a door. So I'm going to start a new layer and call it doors. Give it maybe brown color and activate this layer. I'm just going to draw a line right over here. Move it 10 units up. Oh, sorry, 100 units up. And I'm going to extend it. EX for extend. As we mentioned before, it's a derivative of the trim, or the opposite of trim. And then I'm going to just select the object where I want it to be extended. Okay, So it extended up until here. I'm gonna offset it by 1000 units. And I'm gonna trim what's between them, because this is how doors look like. And I'm gonna trim this line as well because I don't really need it. I'm gonna offset this 100 units, plus probably smaller than 100, so I'm gonna offset this, say 50 units. Oh, looks okay. And this is a pretty thin door. So I'm gonna trim it and I'm gonna draw the line right over here. And this is the, oh sorry, I'm not gonna draw the line here. I'm gonna offset this by 1000 because the door itself is 1000 units long. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna extend, EX for extend, and I'm gonna select the objects that I want to be extended. And I'm done. Once I'm done, I just hit on escape. C for circled. If I'm drawing too fast, please feel free to watch the recordings and make sure that you understand each command individually. So this is my circle and I am gonna start trimming. Trim this part and trim this part. So this is how my door looks like. This is obviously too long because this is a part of the walls. So I'm gonna draw another line here and move it to the walls. I'm gonna match properties from this line to this line and to this line. So right now I have the outline of my drawings. I'm gonna start a new layer and call it hatch. Feel free to pause and slow down the recording. I'm gonna keep the hatch in, I don't know, gray, maybe dark gray, or maybe black, just because I like it to be dark, but you don't have to follow that if you don't want to. And I'm gonna activate the hatch layer, and I'm gonna activate the hatch command. H is for hatch, or type hatch, is up to you. I'm gonna choose solid, and I'm gonna press inside right here and right here. Then I'm gonna start a new layer and call it dimensions. And I'll give it a pink color. And I will make it the active layer. And I will type DIM. And I'll start placing dimensions like this. Notice how small this is. So I'm gonna go to the Dimension Style Manager, DIM, STY. Modify the current style by editing the text and make it maybe 50. I think 250 was good last time. See how it goes. I'm gonna again go to modify, try 250, edit the arrows and make them also 150. And then go to the primary units and I'm gonna change that to no primary units. And then I'll click on OK and close and see how it looks. So that's 5,600 from the outside. I'm gonna activate another dimension command and I'm gonna place it right over here, and that's only on the inside. Now notice how my dimensions are overlapping, so I'm just gonna grab this. I'm gonna select it from this point and take it away, or farther away. And then I'm gonna start a new dimension. Let me just move this slightly farther. Or maybe we can place it on the other side. Start a new dimension and I'm gonna start measuring from this point to this point and place it here. And then from this point to this point and place it right under this one. And then from this point to maybe this point, or maybe this point might be helpful. And I'll place it below this one. And then I'll place the overall dimensions, like from this point to this point, and then the overall dimension from this point to that point, and there we are. On the horizontal dimensions, I'm gonna go like this. Now, of course, there are other kinds of dimensions that allow me to go easier. So maybe instead of linear, I can go, instead of annotations on the dimensions, I can go in older versions or different versions. I can go with different kinds of dimensions where I can go with continuous dimensions. Right now, I honestly can't allocate it on this version. If I find it, I'll get back to you with updates to make it easier for you. But right now, this is what we have. And we'll deal with it. So, oops. So I'm going to activate the dimension again, and I have it right here. So this is the measurement that I have so far. I'm just going to move this so that it's parallel to the one next to it, like this. And then I'll put the overall dimensions like so. Now don't worry if you think I'm too fast and you want to be as fast as I am. That's perfectly fine. I've been working with AutoCAD for over 15 years now, so I've got a lot of practice. So eventually you'll get there. Just take it slow and work with neat files. What's important is that you don't have broken lines like this. So you have a total of 6,000 lines, but then they're separate lines, which makes it a messy file. That's what we want to avoid. And what's important is that we don't draw multiple lines on top of each other. So we don't do this and we go over the line and we have broken lines. So then whenever you want to erase a line, it just gives you such a difficult time to start altering your project. And remember that you're not the only one working on the project. You have other stakeholders and other designers and engineers working on your project. So right now I'm going to add the last layer and call it text. I'll keep it, let's say it's pink, maybe. They're usually given fuchsia colors for some reason. I'll just give it this purplish color, and I'm going to make it the active command, and I'll go with mtext, or maybe single line text, so text, and I'll place it right here. I want it to be maybe this big, and I want it to be horizontal, so I'll say maybe bedroom. Click right here, and then move my text in the center so that it looks neat and nice. And there is my bedroom drawing. Again, this is very quick tutorial. Please feel free to repeat things, feel free to slow it down, feel free to pause it. I went over it really quickly because I know that you can pause. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, write them down, and ask them to me in the next session. Now, in the next tutorial, we'll be covering blocks and how we work with blocks in preparation to get ready to start plotting.